What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. I got my man, Jay Babo. What's good, man?
Nothing much. Looking forward to once again another great episode. But I want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on Grind City TV Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can download a Roku TV and your smart TV. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold a Husband Podcast. All right, T.
I also have my other co-host. I got my man, SD. What's good, man?
Nothing, man. Ready and excited to get this here episode on the road. But I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal.
I want to remind everybody, y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. And I am pleased to announce that going forward, the podcast will also be available on Spotify. So we're actually growing, man. We're getting some real good numbers. We're getting some real good traction. So I'm really loving the progress, fellas. We got a real interesting episode tonight. Tonight's episode is titled Love, Likes, and Emojis. And we'll be talking about how social media has impacted flirting, dating, and relationships as a whole. But before we get into all that, y'all know how we do it around here. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen on our timeline or things that have gone viral. And we got a couple of good videos. We got a video of comedian Chico Bean explaining his philosophy on committed relationships. Let's take a listen.
Truth. So you have a choice as to whether or not you want to deal with me or not, but you have to understand that you won't be the only woman that I deal with. Now, in fairness,
that's an individual thing, though.
You have a lot of men who say that and then be like, I do what I want, you do what I tell you. I'm also not that way. I'm not the type of person that's going to tell you I can do what I want, you do what I tell you. As long as whatever you do don't bring me no problems, I don't care what you do. My uncle told me a long time ago, if you don't wake up in the morning and wash your pussy, it don't belong to you. It's yours. You going to do what you want to do with it. As long as a nigga ain't mad when it's my turn, we straight.
I don't have no problem with that philosophy. That's actually how I felt when I was single. Like, I didn't question women about what they did, who you fucked, who you was with. I didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? As long as when we link up, we focused on each other. I didn't really care what a woman did when she wasn't with me. So I think this is the mentality that a lot of single guys have. What y'all think of the video?
I think that him having money, he can do it like he's doing it a lot easier than a lot of other men out here.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because he got the funds to where he gets a lot of women coming to him, so he can kind of move that route. But most men can't move like that. But
True,
do I respect it? Yeah, I respect it because he being upfront. He letting you know from the jump, hey, you ain't gonna be the only one. This is what it's gonna be. If you want to deal with it, you can deal with it. If not,
take it or leave it.
Yeah, so you can't do nothing but respect that. But in today's dating world, in the climate, a lot of women call him a boy because he don't want to just be with one woman. And
True.
I think it's unfair because he's being honest about it. So nobody's getting deceived. I'm with it.
What about you, Jay?
Same here. I mean, he kept it all the way 1,000 up front and straight with it. Like you said, it's take it or leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a guy that is having success in the dating market, you can dictate what you are willing to do with a woman. And there are a lot of women that will enjoy your company. You know what I'm saying? Like I talk about my side dude experience. Man, he said, I'm pretty sure he's smashing chicks that got boyfriends and stuff like that. But it don't matter. As long as they link up and long as your situation ain't causing me no problems, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't have your man calling my phone and pull it on there. Like, if you can avoid the drama, most men will maintain a situation like this as long as a woman's willing to do it.
No, another thing I can take for this, men that have this approach are men that are secure with themselves. Because only insecure men care about what a woman's doing when she's not with him. Even regardless if they're single or not.
Yeah, there are a lot of hypocritical men in that regard where they expect that they're single. They'll constantly remind a chick that they're single, but they'll be expecting her to behave as if she's committed to him or being loyal to them. Like when
And
you
that's
see the memes, you got to be loyal during the talking phase and all that type of
yeah,
stuff. Go ahead.
yeah. That's because a lot of women behave that way. You know what I'm saying?
Naturally.
Yeah, a lot of them behave that way. So that's why men typically expect it from a woman that they talking to, especially once they start having sex. A lot of men expect that because he like, yo, I'm breaking her down, so I know she just gonna chill out with me. And a lot of women do that. That's why they hearts, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times get broken because, as we know, most women cannot just keep having consistent sex with a man with no feelings, right? And that's where his I think his style, his approach will catch up to him as far as he's like, hey, long as you don't bring me no problems. Well, we know that some of them chicks gonna catch feelings and they gonna cause problems, right? Like, hey, what are we doing? Why I only see you at night? Why I only see you when the sun go down? When we gonna get together? You know what I'm saying? And cause you a headache. And everybody done been there. If you've been out here and done had chicks, and it causes the dude to leave them alone.
You got it. Yeah, that's how you end up having a rotation or a season, because you do have to cut off chicks. You do have to.
You do.
A couple times, like I remember when we was in college, a lot of my friends, we had like a 90-day rule. You know what I'm saying? Like you like, oh man, she a date. Yeah, that's usually where chicks would start catching feelings and trying to press. That's where it had evolved into a situationship, basically. So that was kind of like the average time period where we was having to cut off chicks. So you could just see the gradual. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so predictable.
So after 90 days, what would you do? You would just ghost them and just stop calling and texting them?
Yeah. You just cut her off, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got no more room on the squad.
I'm disgusted at what I am hearing right now. Ladies, I'm appalled at Terry right now for the things that he is saying. It was about 3 weeks for me before the chick called Billy. It was about 3 or 4 weeks, man, before she was like, yo, trying to leave a toothbrush at my house or something. I'm like, man, you get that toothbrush and them house shoes out of here. Like, you know, but like most women are going to catch feelings. But that was back then. Now, you know, you still got a lot of women that will catch feelings, but you also got a lot of chicks out here, man, that's trying to move like men. And it won't hit them until later.
They claim that they can move like men, but we know different.
Right. Perfect example is that clip you did with Miss Brittany Renner, SD, where you were telling that men don't move the same as women, or women can't move the same as men, and that resonates with.
Yeah, because she said, hey, I said, how can you do that? She said, because I'm not in tune with myself as a woman. You gotta act out of tune with yourself to move like a man and be a hoe out here. It's just the natural of how we are, the nature of a woman gotta act out of tune. But a month later, she was crying in the car about how people just use her for the things that they want and then leave her alone. This is exactly what you get out here because you can't move like men, but you want to pretend and act to the world as
you never see guys doing that. You never see women just want to hang out and have sex with me.
I'm just being used for sex.
Yeah, I'm going celibate. Like, you don't see that from guys.
No, man.
Clearly, that clip didn't age well there.
No, because it affects them different. But the ones that are in denial are the ones that are hurt the most behind the scenes. I've seen it with my own eyes. So you can't fool me. I know what's up.
Yeah, man, it's sad, man. The more you talk to women about their philosophies and how they got to those philosophies, it's a lot of trauma. It's a lot of assumptions. It's a lot of bad information that's being passed down from generation to generation, from big sister to cousin. Like, that they have so much misinformation that it's very difficult to weave through all that and get a woman that actually gets it and actually has the right type of mentality that's conducive to a long-term relationship.
Yeah, but they don't understand. They don't understand how much it hurts them out here in the dating world, especially when they're young. they don't understand the ramifications of it 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
They just thinking about right now though.
Yeah,
they ain't gotta worry about
women,
then.
You got a lot of women online now talking about, I like to get ran by 5 guys. I like my body. I like all these dudes and think it's cool. The women saying they got 2,000 bodies and they do this and they do that. Well, in 5 years or 10 years, that natural instinct of a woman to be in a committed relationship and have kids and a marriage, whatever the case, it's gonna start to kick in.
The desire for men to make her his woman is going to evaporate as well.
That's
like those two things happen at the same. It's like, yeah, you can. I mean, you can. Just think about the logic, right? They already can get dick on demand pretty much whenever they want, but they just take so much pride at being able to get guys to want to smash them. Like that's like bragging about being able to breathe air all day. Like, I can go 24 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? What's impressive about that? But they'll brag about it and talk about it as if they accomplished something. And it's sad to see. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, there's a large percentage of society that operates that way, and we'll get into that with tonight's topic. Let's get to our next topic, man. This next video was the video of Stephen Speaks talking about how a woman needs to actually respect her man and view him a certain way in order for a relationship to function in a healthy way. Let's take a listen.
I believe that for a relationship to be successful, the woman has to be able to look up to the man. Not as in he is greater than her, so to speak, but she has to revere him, respect him.
Absolutely.
She has to feel like I can learn something from this man.
Yeah.
Not that I have to teach him and drag him to the finish line. So when you start off that way, she might be willing to be with you, but now the problem is, how much will she respect you along the way?
Wow.
Also, as a man, will you still be driven enough to achieve your dreams if you even had any?
Right.
Because some women are trying to pour into a man who has no plan and no dreams himself.
Wow.
If you don't ever get there, resentment will now kick in. If you are now you're basically being rewarded for your bad behavior. What I mean by that is you have not established yourself as a man. Let's make something clear. You're not entitled to a relationship. Everyone says, well, everyone deserves to be loved. Absolutely.
Right.
Every human being deserves to receive love, but not a damn relationship. Not a committed, I'm gonna pour into you, be committed to you, feel all your needs. You don't deserve that yet.
All right, man. Now, he said a lot, and I agree with. I agree with the message for the most part. A relationship where a woman doesn't respect her man or doesn't view you as the man of the relationship, toxic. That's city girl behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like talk to you crazy and just view you as an ATM type vibe. I could never see myself in that predicament, but that. There are a lot of simps that fall for a cute face or some good pussy.
Absolutely.
Some neck. I mean, the neck is important.
You talking like Superman or something?
Yeah, man. A lot of dudes fall for that, man. But listen, the dude, he's absolutely right. Your woman has to admire you as her man. Because most women are looking for their man to be the leader of the relationship. So she has to look up to you in some type of way. If she don't, she is not going to respect you, like he said. And she's going to treat you like that. She going to talk to you any kind of way. She going to behave any kind of way because she don't see you as the man in that relationship. She view herself as the leader of that relationship.
I mean, there are a lot of women with masculine identities that already have an issue taking any authority from a man that they're in a relationship with. So there's that, you know what I'm saying? But if she don't respect you on top of it, it's a lose. You might as well just pull the parachute and eject on that.
Exactly. I feel like this. A man who's not respected is not a man, especially when dealing with a woman in a relationship, right? Because a woman has to look up to you. If she doesn't look up to you, she's going to look down upon you, right? She's going to be openly contemptuous towards you. Like, Terry, think about this for a second. Can you imagine when you were dating your wife and she didn't respect you? I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be your wife to this day.
Yeah. The dating phase wouldn't have continued. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as a man, one of the things you have to be willing to cut chicks off. And the fact that I was always successful with chicks, I was never just like, oh, please don't go, please don't leave me type vibe. You know what I mean? Like, now I don't treat women messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was kind of part of the problem. All the chicks that I was fucking with, I'm viewing it as casual dating shit, but they viewed me as husband and father material, which rightfully so, because that's what I exuded. Just like in the video, he talked about the ambition, the drive, the goals. Like those things are very attractive to women, especially when you have tangible things to show for the work you've been putting in. So those are the things that are authentic being used to attract women.
So did you get a lot of those, hey, where's this going when you were dealing with those women back in that whole phase?
Yeah, I did a good job of kind of curving those conversations or minimizing it. That's one of the reasons I was so cool with being a side dude. Man. That provided me really what I wanted out of those situations: private, secret sex, couple conversations here and there. So I was just moving different because I was juggling so many different types of women.
Man, you don't hit him with that Desmond Howard-Heisman's pose when it came to that conversation, bro.
But listen, this is why most women are only attracted to a small amount of men. This is why, because those types of men exude that masculine man's man type of energy, right? But a lot of women today knock themselves out of the running with a man like that because they bump heads, because a lot of women are a lot more masculine now. And a man's man like that they actually want to be with, he don't want to be next with another man. A woman that act like a man. He don't want to be with a woman that's masculine and challenging everything and got something to say behind everything and being uncooperative. He don't want to be with a woman like that. He want to be with a woman that's feminine and soft. And a lot of women,
you already going to deal with that when you have a teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Right, what I'm saying. Like, and a lot of women can't get out of their own way because they went so long being masculine. So then they settle for the softer, more beta type of guys. And then they don't respect those guys. And meanwhile, the alpha dude is over here banging her back out. And that's who she's cheating with because that's who she's really attracted to. But she settled for the beta because he's going to give her the security of the family,
good job,
being able to take care of the kid, good job, and all those things. So you
no really accountability.
As a man, you have to be, like Terry said, be willing to walk away and stand on your standards as a man, and not let these women out here dictate to you how you live your life or run your life as a man. If she don't want to get on your program, get rid of her, because she has to look up to you as the man to guide, lead, and structure that relationship. If you can't do it, she don't need to be with you. And that's another thing. Like, I hear the women talk about it all the time. The men can't lead, right? Ladies, y'all are the ones picking these dudes. He didn't know how to lead when you met him. He didn't know how to lead when you met him. And I'm sure in his life that there was something in his life that showed you he didn't know how to lead. He got his bed on crates, even though he got a decent job, but he don't prioritize well. But he got every pair of Jordans lined up in his house. But he's sleeping on the floor because he don't want to get a bed, or he ain't paying his bills on time because he want to smoke weed every day. He doing stuff that don't quite match up. His mom still got to make dentist appointments for him. He ain't leading his own life right. You should walk away from that dude. Because if you're 30, 35 years old, you should not be thinking about dating a dude for his potential, and he's your age, 35.
You should have something tangible that you can see for it.
Exactly.
Like that was one of the things that I always tried to make sure that I had. Like, I didn't want to be a person that their life wasn't the same this year after. Like, you got to be showing growth in order to be husband material or the type that somebody's going to want to be with long term. Like, a dude that's just telling you what he's going to do and you don't see none of the actions in his day-to-day behavior. He ain't got no notebook with his plans. He ain't researching nothing. He ain't investing his money into learning new skills or new things. Then he's not really serious. You know what I mean? Like, the way people move that are really ambitious is drastically different than the people that are just talking a good game.
No
But
doubt.
I wanted to kind of steer the conversation to something that we talked about before, as where you was talking about if the woman don't really respect you. That's the kind of the situation that I envision where she's like, you could just move in my crib. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, no.
move in my
No, no. Listen, don't ever move in with a woman. It is her place, and she gonna let you know that you are a visitor in here. As soon as you get out of line, she gonna be like, "Yo, this is my house." Never move in with a woman.
No,
She's not gonna respect you.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that. You know, and I had a friend that had this problem. Married a woman, moved in, you know, at her house with her parents and everything. And I told him just like this: you're never going to respect her because you.
Hold on, time out. That's what you said.
Yeah, it was our parents' crib that he moved in with.
Okay. It was.
I mean, he's no longer now. He's no longer with the woman for what it's worth. But I told him that I was like, listen, you can't be the king in somebody else's castle. As long as you're there, they're never going to respect your leadership or anything.
Nope. And that's exactly right.
You're going to be a source of income.
As a man, you have to be the leader. If you're going to be the leader, be the leader. If you don't want the job, don't ask for it. You know what I'm saying? But if you want the job, have your stuff in order to where you got your place or y'all get a place, whatever the case. But you have to be able to lead that and direct it. Listen here, I just bought this 8-bedroom house, whatever the case. You can move in here, but I'm not coming with you. If she's so adamant, because a lot of these women now got homes, and that keeps a lot of them from relationships because they be so dug in where they at with their homes and all of this here stuff that they're gonna amass that they don't want to move, even though a lot of people meeting online, right? If she don't want to leave, if she does insist on you moving with her, let her go. Let her go and say, hey. You know what I'm saying? Because as a man, you're supposed to be.
Well, see, I would push back on that a little. I can see, like you said, if somebody met online and they in a different state, and she's like, you can move down here, but I would say it only as a temporary thing. Like if I was gonna move to another city, I could move into your house for the first 2 or 3 months while I get situated and we home shopping for our own shit. Like I could see something like that where it's just a stepping stone to your own place or something that you can call you. You wouldn't even do that?
No.
I see you step fast on that one.
We gonna get this together before anything. I just don't want to follow no woman because I don't think she gonna respect it. Like, look, this is where I'm at. You want me to be the leader? Here go my leading right here. All you got to do is show up. I got you. I got the crib. I got this. I got that. We good right here. It is what it is, but I ain't following no woman. Sorry, I can't do it. Hey, but everybody doing their own thing, man.
Look like we are up against the clock. We about to take a quick break, y'all. When we come back, we'll be getting into tonight's topic: love, likes, and emojis. Y'all tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast, and we'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. We have our guest on tonight. We have Alex from Instagram. What's going on, Alex? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're doing all right. Anxious to get your perspective. Tonight's episode is titled Love, Likes, and Emojis. And so we just kind of wanted to talk about how social media has impacted flirting, dating, and relationships. Okay. But before we get into the interview, can you let us know a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into social media, etc.?
Yeah, my name is Alexandria John. I have started a business called My Inner Beauty, which is basically a deprogramming site, you can say. So what I specialize in is helping us as women to see the value in having beauty on the inside, which goes into healing trauma, being better in our relationships, being better wives, girlfriends towards our men, better daughters, better friends, and etc. So with that being said, my Instagram is She's Alexandra. I started out doing a lot about luxury, but I also center around helping women to get out of the lifestyle around looking for men just for money and just for what they can provide. So that's me.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Wow, without a doubt.
That city girl mentality is pretty toxic.
It's very toxic, very.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of women realize that prevents them from finding healthy relationships, because if you do something as a transaction, you're never going to be genuinely giving your all to somebody. So we appreciate the work you're putting in. We try to do our best to try to provide an authentic perspective on the men. The first question I wanted to ask you is, what would you say is the biggest obstacle that's preventing women from having dating success?
Differentiating the difference between having high standards versus having unrealistic standards. Okay. And I think that goes into thinking that being high value means that a man has to have money or overextends himself towards you to give you princess treatment or make you feel as though you're exalted, when in reality it's supposed to be a relationship where two people show up equally to benefit each other, not one benefiting more than the other.
No, that's typical. I mean, we see that a lot, especially on social media.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, and it's, not just the women, but we see it a lot from women because we probably have more women followers. But how a lot of them always talk about what they want. Very few people talk about what they can give to somebody. In fact, a lot of women nowadays even have a problem mentioning things that they can actually bring to a man. They're appalled by the question just on a podcast or whatever of what do you bring to the table, or basically what can you offer a man. It's a lot of times what you want.
I am the table.
Yeah, that's like, okay, cool. You want a man that has the table. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think it has to do a lot with women and our emotions and not healing from our past trauma. So we tend to pacify that as saying that we don't need to do any more because we've been hurt so many times by the men that we've given to, that going forward, we're not going to give any more. And I think the difference is, men, you have been hurt too, but you don't speak about it. And if we don't hear what the problems are, we can start to focus on how to change it. So if we're a woman that's consistently communicating with you and telling you, babe, this is how you could do better, this is what's bothering me, and you don't change, but you don't change because you don't like something about us, but you're not communicating what that is. So moving forward, we give ourselves this illusion that we are fine the way we are, because in a lot of ways, we don't know what's wrong. And we're not trying to fix it because it hurts our ego to know that we may have done something wrong to the people who did something wrong to us.
Yeah, I think a lot of women don't know what's wrong out here dating now, because they got so many men coming at them all the time. Like, regardless of what it is that they do, it's like, okay, well, I got 50 other dudes in my DM, so it's never a self-reflection period. A lot of times, not all times, but a lot of times, to really sit back and think about what they did wrong. And when people on podcasts or different pages tell them, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, it's met with a lot of...
you're bashing women. You hate women. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Like,
I think there's two reasons to that, because I do receive backlash for the way I speak out to women. But
men or women?
To women. I don't really address men. I don't address men because I don't think it's a woman's place to address a man's problem. I sometimes feel that that's more of the man's place. I'm speaking to women because women can be more closed off to hear it from you than they'll be hearing it from me, even though they're still going to be mad. Don't get me wrong, but
So
they'll feel more comfortable knowing that it's coming from a woman who's been through the same things that they've been through.
Do you get a lot of pushback when you're talking to the women?
I do. But eventually, if they continue to follow me, if they continue to listen to me, they come around. And I'm very surprised about that, actually. I've had people who have turned into clients who were women that were in the streets or city girls or sugar babies or escorts, all these things that I'm completely against, that hated me when they see my profile, hated the things that I did and talked about and said. But they said, you know what, let me try this with my boyfriend, with the man that I'm dating, with the lifestyle that I've chosen, and let me see how it changes me. And they are surprised by the way that their lives have turned around just by looking at themselves and reflecting on what they're doing wrong. And
that's the key.
It's just slightly different for a woman. And I've shared your stuff all the time, Terry. I am a huge fan.
I appreciate it.
But people hate it. They hate it so much.
But I get so much backlash. Yeah.
People
I mean,
or women?
Women.
You know, it's the women that hate it. The fellas always commend me for keeping it real and giving an authentic, articulating their thoughts in a way that they usually couldn't themselves. Right. But it does come with backlash. I get accused of hating women and all these. I'm against women, and it's like, why would I bring on all these experts to my podcast to talk about improving relationships if I was trying to hurt women? Yeah, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. But it's so important for women to pay attention to social media, because I was doing some research, and over 20% of relationships are started either through social media, through a dating app, or through a website.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my ex-fiance, I met him on Instagram.
So your social presence, a lot of people are putting up a facade, but that hurts them when it comes to actually, like you said, meeting somebody. So if you're authentic and people actually slide in your DMs just from you cooking dinner or going to the gym or living your regular life, that's a lot different than you being in your panties and a dude sliding in your DMs. You know what I mean?
I think that's also the reason, though, why a lot of these relationships that start on social media don't work out, because we only highlight the good things about ourselves and our lives. We're not being authentic, and we can't attract authentic connections, relationships, and friendships by portraying ourselves as something that we're not, because when the mask falls off, or when the relationship actually starts, they're going to see who you really are. And that also contributes to thinking that beauty or sexuality is what is going to keep a man, and it's not. But that's what Instagram sells us.
That's why I say that your social media pages are your relationship resume.
Your resume.
Yeah, for a relationship, because you know, me being a single man, when I meet a woman or something, I want to see your Instagram. I want to see how you really are when you didn't know, anybody was looking. Are you twerking at the gas station? Are you twerking on top of cars? Are you twerking? Can I see your camel toe? You turning around with your G-string on and showing your booty or something like that. Like, I want to see those things and how you carry yourself as a woman. And a woman should want to see the same thing. If a guy's at the strip club every week with money up to his ear, you know what I'm saying, tossing dollars everywhere and living his life just reckless, a woman should be able to see that if somebody is active on social media, or even how they think in the different memes that they support and what they say in their captions. So I think it's important.
I wanted to talk about how social media has kind of changed how the relationship cycle works, right? So we see that there's this people make a big deal out of revealing the person that they dating or smashing or whatever. So that kind of everybody act sneaky link and acting like everything is a secret about who they're messing with. I think a lot of people are flexing, you know what I'm saying, that are really not with anybody. But there's been a big shift in how that takes place, and then how people handle the breakups with the block and delete and try to act like none of your exes ever existed type of vibe. What are your thoughts on those two extremes?
Well, I actually tell women quite all the time, if a man is paying for your dinner, if you're on a trip, please just respect him to show him. And if you can't show him, then don't show the things that he's done for you. I say that all the time. My belief is that we have trust issues. So what people are, well, let me speak for women. I don't know for men. What women are afraid of is coming out and saying, I have this man, I'm in a commitment, and the man is not doing the same for her. So when that relationship doesn't work out or that situationship doesn't go forward, you're embarrassed when you have all these photos and all these things that he's done for you and all these, and it's the embarrassment that people are running from. It's the want to protect themselves instead of understanding that we need to be focused on building the relationship, not what other people think about us. And that's what social media does. It's all a show, and it's all to impress other people, right? It's not just for us anymore. It's not just for our friends that we are very close to. Now it's influencers. Now it's for the followers. Now it's for the money. So we have to keep up a certain image, and that's why people don't like to show their significant others. They just don't. But that's women. I don't know about the men.
So when women go into your program or clients that you deal with, you said one thing you talk about is deprogram. Is there a common thread that you see when they need to deprogram?
Honestly, all of it. Honestly, there is no one topic that I don't talk about when it comes to deprogramming. So that's why I like to say I'm a deprogrammer. So I talk about sex, I talk about relationships, I talk about media, whether it's, Kim Kardashian, plastic surgery, what we do to move forward in life and how we feel our sexuality is what's going to get us ahead. I talk about it all. So I think it is multiple categories that, again, I'm going to speak for women, that we as women need to tackle in order to be better wives and be better girlfriends and be better friends, all of it.
Are there common mistakes that you see when you do this?
Common mistakes. Yeah, the one to not take accountability. I think that's
look at that. You can't say that word.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
There we go.
They respond instantly when you start trying to hold them accountable. But I don't think any relationship can grow without that. Like to me, like on my platform, I call out a lot of the things that I observe in women that either create unnecessary conflict with men, that either cause them to struggle with dating, or just don't make sense from a logical perspective. And I felt like giving a thorough, articulate perspective on why it's problematic or why it doesn't make sense. Only a small percentage of women actually receive that message. Most of them interpret it to be like, oh, you're just so bitter that you observe this common thread among women.
Yeah. Hey, you know what that does, though? Think about it. If most women behave and think that way to something online from somebody who has nothing to do with their lives at all, imagine how they respond in a relationship with somebody that they're actually dealing with. When that person tries to hold them accountable. And so now when you listen to the men, and most men will tell you this, when you bring up an issue or something that has to hold your woman or a woman that you are talking to accountable, it's usually met with dismissiveness or try to flip it on you and say, but you do this or you do that. It is not met with, hey, just talk to us and we'll change this. That rarely happens for men. I can tell you that right now. And you can tell that by the backlash that we get on social media when we try to hold women accountable, just like you were saying, Alex. Hey, I get a lot of backlash from women when I try to hold them accountable. This is coming from another woman. So the men aren't making this stuff up. A lot of women just don't want to hear the truth that they claim to want all the time.
You know what? I think there are a lot of other teachers, coaches, gurus that agree with this, men and women. However, they're thinking about the money, right? The likes, the followers. People want to hear what makes them feel good. They're not looking for self-improvement that makes them question who they are, right? So the reason why people like you, Terry, or people like me, it's not more of us speaking about it. It's not because these educated people don't know, but it's because people don't want to give money to it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. They want to make blogs and talk about people. I've been called a pick me 1,000 times.
I can imagine.
And that's the craziest thing. Don't they want to be picked?
Right.
Ain't these women out here trying to get husbands?
Hello?
That's right, but they call you a pick-me for saying that we need to improve, but it's not pick-me behavior to go to a place just to look for a man, whether he's rich. They have all type of blogs that tell you what restaurants to go to, what neighborhoods to frequent, because that's where rich men are. How is that not begging somebody to pick me? But I'm begging somebody to pick me because I want to be better for myself. And this is just the logic that women are not connecting the dots on. And again, what sells is fashion advice. What sells is relationship coaches telling women, hold out on sex, manipulate men this way, because it sells. It's not true. It's not going to make us have a long-term commitment. But it will get you something now, and it puts money in the pockets of the people who need it.
But you know what you just said, a lot of them already do that. I think a lot of times they just want somebody to reinforce what their decision already was.
True. Yeah.
A lot of times. But you know what? Guess women spend, and this is an amazing stat that I looked up. In the United States, 70% of the spending in the United States is spent by women.
Wow.
That's why that's why a lot of your ads and different things market to women. Because, and that's why a lot of, they want to keep a lot of women single, because women spend a lot of money. So telling a woman what she wants to hear is a strategy that Hope is being used all the time.
Yes.
They
my
love
God.
bomb. They love bomb in order to get the sex. And then before it's the same thing when it comes to panderers or people telling women what they want to hear online to make money, because it don't help them none. It actually keeps them single, so that no man comes in and brings structure and say, hey, baby, there's no point for you to keep paying this man $50 a month because I'm here now. So now we can cut that off. They don't want you to get into no relationship. So they tell you, don't cook for no man. Don't you clean for no man. These are the exact things that a quality man will want to see from a woman, just like she want to see him provide. Just like she want to see him have a protective spirit over her. She wants to see those husbandly qualities in him. What makes you think that he don't want to see those wifely qualities in you? You, like you said, Alex, she'll get plenty of penis. She'll get plenty of that, because those dudes ain't looking for wifely qualities anyway. They just looking for a little fun. So you don't have to show none of that. You ain't got to cook for him. He's just trying to see you naked anyway. So it actually hurts a lot of these women when these here people on social media platforms tell them these here things that are supposedly shortcuts, but it actually keeps them single because it's what they want to hear and already believe, like J. Babo said.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you, Alex. I see a lot of women, I see them, hoes are winning, so they post things like this on their stories or whatnot. Why do you think so many quality women, the women that cook at home and keep their houses clean and do all those type of things, are becoming jealous of thought behavior and thought culture?
I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat that again?
Why do you think I see like a lot of normal women with regular jobs that live regular lifestyles? They complain about the treatment that the thoughts and the IG models and all that are getting treated. Why do you think so many women are expressing jealousy towards those women?
Because I think we all have a certain degree of unhappiness. It doesn't always have to be anything crazy like depression or anything like that, but there's always certain things in our lives that we feel can improve. And the women who might not choose to do those things or live that lifestyle, or some of them feel like they're not even pretty enough to do it, they might have jealousy because they simply can't experience the things that the other girls do. And it does bother them, because I have talked to those women before. And how do you deprogram yourself, right, from still wanting to experience that, but knowing that you can't or that you shouldn't? And I really think it's all about knowing yourself. And I tell women that all the time. It's about having more confidence in the choices and the decisions you make in your life. And whatever that is, whether that is the ones who have the career that you mentioned, Terry, they can have a career that they're completely unhappy with, but they feel like, oh, I'm the woman who has the money, I'm the independent one, so that makes me better than somebody else. No, it doesn't. You become better when you're actually happy with what you're doing, when you feel fulfilled. They don't feel fulfilled. So regardless if you have everything on your own, right? Or if you're a woman that is being supported by a man, if you're not focusing on your confidence and what makes you who you are going to continue to feel feelings of jealousy because you're unfulfilled. It's quite simple. Again, that's not a one size fits all, but that's a one size fits 60 to 70%.
Yeah, you know what I hate to hear? When a woman say, all the hoes is getting married. All the hoes
Right.
is married. All these Instagram models are getting married. And it's like, how is that? And I like to say, well, how many of these so-called hoes do you know? Well, I got two. It's 168 million women out here. You talk about two chicks that you know, that constitutes for all. In their minds, they see these women living these lives. Yeah. And to them, they get so jealous and have these feelings about it that constitutes for all. If these women get married, and it's just not true.
But what it does is, I think the biggest problem from social media is it's warped their expectations. Yes. Like, you got all these women thinking they're supposed to be riding around showing Rolls Royces in their stories and going to the most expensive steakhouses. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, y'all not celebrities. Like, so to expect to live a celebrity lifestyle is just so unrealistic. Like, you're not Cinderella. You don't got nobody that's just magically gonna come up with money like that. And the women are just willing to do so many toxic things to try to get that lifestyle.
Right. I recently posted some clips from Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. And I also posted some clips from Andrew Tate. And I had a lot of women telling me that they hate these people and they need to be banned because they have a negative influence on the men who watch them. And I asked them, I was like, I can agree to a certain extent, right? But is it not negative influence for us to consistently watch videos of women telling us to block men, consistently watching videos of women telling us to get in men's pockets, to run through their money, to have to pay for our bills?
Nope.
Are these not negative influences?
I don't care.
Absolutely. But you know what it is? When it comes to social media, it's all about who we like as opposed to the message, right?
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I said you can't judge the message because you don't like the messenger. I literally said that.
Yeah, it's a page that I follow. I mean, dogs Kevin Samuels to this day. And I'm like, the man is dead. Why are you running this man's name through? Oh, because he talked like that. But most of the content from that page is calling men dusties and broke and this and that. Don't deal with this man. And all these women praise it. I said, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing, just in the reverse. And it's okay for you. It's okay for you to throw this man's name through the dirt as a dead man because you say, oh, well, he did this and he talked about women like this. But you're doing the exact same thing. So a lot of women that I notice, especially on social media, when it's beneficial for them, they're just fine with it. When they feel like it's beneficial, when it's something that holds them accountable, that word again, they hate it, and they hate the person that's actually saying it to them. They have strong feelings about that, and it's ridiculous.
Shadow work, I talk about shadow work a lot to my clients. It's really hard to do. And for a lot of women, we tend to feel our emotions so deep and so strongly. So they run from it. They run from doing the inner work because it's so hard. And that's actually a personality trait of just humans in general. But I notice it a lot in women because our emotions make us be critical of ourselves. overcritical of ourselves. So we use what we can to run away from that. So anything, like I said before, that makes us feel good, any man that tells us you're doing right by being who you are, they're wrong. Make them pay for it. Manipulate them. Use this trick, the 7 keys to psychology to manipulate your mind. Tactics 101, all those
it's
they
crazy.
go towards it because it's easier. It's easier.
You're not asking too much. You're just asking the wrong man.
Wrong man.
Maybe you are asking too much. Like, come on.
The cliches just kill me, man. But I think that's one of the reasons that I've been able to get such a big platform is because I actually post the stuff and break down why it's BS. And so many people love the fact that because it always amazes me where you kind of get to know the people in your comments. So I'll see people I know, this person is an engineer, you learn stuff about them. And it's like intelligent women, they'll be like, man, I'm glad you posted this because I believe this quote. Or I thought this was a good quote. You know what I'm saying? Like, until I read your comments about it. And it's like, man, these women really don't understand when a message is harmful or counterproductive to actually achieving their goals.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But
like,
they don't.
Like a man gotta love you more than you love him. And you say, well, where's this love meter? How can you gauge this love meter? Well, I don't know, but a man gotta love you more. Where do you get this from? Where do you come up with these?
Somebody told him that.
My grandma told me this back in 1982.
We're 40 years removed from that.
Stuck Philly, man. But they believe it because it's what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds good.
Yeah, they got all.
But you know what? It makes sense though, right? They love the cliches because women love poetry and music. Like all the R&B, all the song, man, all that stuff is literally. If you just go back to 90s R&B and you take a quote out of one of them songs, you can make it a caption today and it'll get a lot of likes because it's praising women, it's begging for their love, and it's like all the simp stuff that we talk about. Unfortunately, it works for a large percentage of women, but that's not how the type of men that they actually want operate. The men that are already having success with women ain't begging a chick for their time and attention like that.
Y'all know this this famous simp classic.
A lot of it is just, like I said, miseducation, and some of it, like I said, is also not taking accountability. And a lot of it, though, is simply because our men aren't speaking up and telling us. And that's why I think accounts like yours, Terry, is so important, because if women genuinely don't hear anything, if we don't hear anything from your side, we will never know. We will never know. So I want to take this platform to encourage men to speak up more and say what it is that you want in your woman, what qualities you really find attractive. Because if we just go off of your actions, you slide in a DM of the girl with her ass out faster than you slide in a DM of the one that's fully covered. And that's just the truth. And so women, mentally, we view that and we say, okay, I need plastic surgery. Plastic surgery means that my heart is less likely to be broken. Plastic surgery.
Okay, well, Alex, well, do me a solid. So for the fellas, what can a guy do to increase the chances that a woman actually opens or even responds to a DM?
I just feel like just speaking up, making more accounts like yours, Terry, making more memes, as lame as that is, talking out more on Instagram, speaking more, just being open, and also speaking more to your sisters, speaking more to your daughters, your girlfriend, like just women who are around you. Educate them. If you can't educate the women that you're dating, educate the women in your family. You can start by doing that. I tell that all the time because women talk about how men hurt them and how men aren't shit and men are this and that. And these are the same women that raised sons. So I'm confused. Like that he has a mother. His mother should have tried to teach him better than that. If we are women, we can set that tone. And I think the same goes for men. If we open up more and talk more to the people in our lives, we can begin to change things. I really think that.
Do you think that affects the way they raise their sons, the women you just described?
I think they don't try. But I think a lot of women, they don't try to teach their sons how to treat women better. They,
Okay.
you know, they let them run the streets. They let them go and do what they do. And, you know,
I don't think that's something a woman can teach a guy. Like, I think, like, when we talk about, like, I get asked, can a single woman raise a boy to be a man? And it's like,
no.
She can teach him how to pay bills and do adult stuff, but the women that try to raise, this is what you're supposed to say, this is what you're supposed to do on a date. It's like, how you know? You know, like, you just telling them what you like and what your preferences are. Like, that's I think those type of women do a big disservice to them, if those boys, if they don't have actual men in his lives to tell him how he needs to operate when it comes to women.
Of course, but he has to also know how women feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can I explain that? If we don't tell our sons about heartbreaks that we've experienced, for instance, they might not be able to communicate emotionally with the woman that they just met, but they can remember their mother. And I don't mean in toxic ways that women do when they separate from their husbands and they tell their kids, this is why, because your dad, no. I mean, just explain about emotions and feelings and how actions that sometimes men can take can affect us. That's all I mean.
That's fair.
Just explain. That's all I mean. And women don't try. We don't try. And maybe we think the same way that you just explained, Terry, where it's like they need to learn that from a man, but a man's not a woman. So a man doesn't know what I feel because he's not me. So what I can do is try to educate my son in how I feel and how I operate in relationships. So therefore he can refer back to that when he's an adult and think, my mom once said this, my mom once said that. Maybe my girlfriend is acting like this because she feels this way. It's just going to program. Remember, I'm a deprogrammer. Program them at a young age to think differently. That's all I'm
suggesting. It looks like we're up against the clock. But before we get up out of here, I wanted to ask you to let the audience know how they can get in contact with you, how they can access your content, etc.
Yes, my website is www.myinnerbeauty.org. You can also find my Instagram account as she'salexandra_. You can also find me on YouTube at Inner Beauty. I just started that one. And my podcast will be up on Podbean, and also it's called My Inner Beauty. That's my brand, that's my tag, and what we work on is becoming better versions of ourselves inwardly. I don't teach you about how to dress. I don't teach you about plastic surgery procedures to get. I don't teach you how to level up physically. I teach you how to level up mentally and emotionally. So I hope to hear from everyone out there, and let's start deprogramming ourselves.
All right, well, we definitely appreciate the love. We really enjoyed the conversation. Before we get up out of here, I want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. I want to remind y'all to continue to support the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. I want to remind y'all the podcast is going to be on Spotify, so make sure y'all show us some love. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up with me to get this episode knocked out. And Alex, we appreciate the love. We would love to have you on again.
Yeah, it was so nice meeting you.
All right, this has been another episode of the Ho the Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye. Peace.